What's up, everybody? My name is Erin, and welcome to the Mad Maker Studio, and welcome back to 80 Days. We are on day 10. We are stuck in Helsinki. Let's explore. Ooh, new routes discovered. I like this mechanic because when they say, ooh, explore, I was thinking like explore the city, but we're just exploring new routes on the globe, and I think that's really cool. I don't think we're gonna make it to every city on this Earth. So that, to me, for this game, it does have a factor of replayability, and I am 100% for games that offer that mechanic of replayability. We were accosted outside the visa office in Helsinki by a stony-faced official with white blonde hair who prodded me in the shoulder. Yes? I smiled at him and he grimaced in return. I interrupted his performance to ask about flying reindeer. Yes? What? He began slowly. The hell, he continued, are you doing in Helsinki? I replied we were on our way to St. Petersburg. I explained we were going around the world. I moved his finger gently aside and ignored the question. No, I'm going to tell everybody we're going around the world. My answer seemed to give him pause. He stopped and pursed his lips. All the way around it? He inscribed a circle in the air. Yes, I believe so. Certainly, I wish to return home at some point. That is the intention. He thought some more. Which way? East, whichever way is the fastest. He nodded deeply again. In that case, do not go to Russia, he said after much computation. But we were considering the Great Railway through Siberia. Why not? Russia is a place of Tsars to bootlickers and imperial lackeys. He nodded once. On your journey, if you see any Russians, he added, turn the other way. I said I would consider it, and he nodded. We thanked him for his time and moved on. I believe he was, in fact, a jovial soul, but I did not see any clear evidence of it. Okay, I'm a fan of not going to Russia. Oh, but that departs in 3 days. I think we're gonna have to go through Russia. Unless we can talk to somebody else. Before retiring, I buffed and shone my master's pocket wash. I went out to explore a little. Only to have my pocket watch most rudely picked. Luckily, the elastic wallet prevented any loss. Excellent. We're gonna go on to St. Petersburg. No! Okay, let's just go. I'm gonna have to start selling some stuff. We boarded a ferry for the short journey to St. Petersburg. Greetings, madam. Yes? Pray, tell me about St. Petersburg. They say the Tsar is heavy-handed in action in St. Petersburg. I don't know my geography very well. At least not on that hemisphere. Copenhagen? Is it possible to travel from St. Petersburg to Copenhagen? I wouldn't believe it. Is it possible to go from St. Petersburg to Minsk? I don't know, but listen, Minsk is very cold. Goodbye. The journey along the Baltic was plagued by ice-fingered winds, as though Russia wished to warn us in advance of the coldness of our welcome. But the people were warm enough. I stayed at the rail and watched the world roll by, wondering what the challenges and what wonders lay ahead in this direction, heading onwards toward the very roof of the world. Okay, you say many of our possessions would trade well here. We'll have to sleep here and explore in the morning. Well, let's look at the market. Now you said trade. Can I trade things? A heavy canvas cape oiled with linseed oil for weathering heavy storms. Fur-lined boots. Boots trimmed with white fur from the Arctic fox of some kind. And gloves for working in cold conditions. Part of the cold climate set. Those all sound very useful. Okay, valuable here. And mints. Let's sell our wax cylinder. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Alright, we'll sell the buffalo hide. Let's get the boots. The gloves. And sure, we'll get the heavy storm hat just because we have space for it. Okay. That's all I'm willing to sell. We're back over 3,000 pounds, which is nice. Our completed cold climate set should protect us against the cold. Hotel. Nevsky Prospect, immortalized by Dostoevsky and Gogol, would have been unrecognizable to those venerable riders. Imperial soldiers filled the streets with Galitzine Kodiki, enormous black iron hydraulic walkers. They were battling rioting peasants. We stayed boldly and decisively away and saw little more than an occasional flying fragment of stone bashed out of some wall somewhere. Relations with Fog have improved slightly, so that because we decided to not insert ourselves in a situation. Explore! Oh, thank goodness. Let's go to Minsk. I spent a few hours in exploration, learning ways in which we might travel onwards. Okay, what's it looking like? Moscow arrives tomorrow. Whoa. Departs tomorrow. Arrives Monday. Against our better judgment, I guess we'll go to Moscow. Dang it, only space for 2 suitcases, never mind. Negotiate. The Russian costume should yield results. Ah, no charge. The ticket will require a further 87 pounds. Cool, let's do it. Embark! No! Why do we have 5 suitcases? No! Okay. I need to stop paying attention to what's in my suitcases. But luckily we're still maintaining 100% health. The train south to Minsk was packed with migrating workers, though they seemed to be migrating equally in both directions. Such indecisiveness frustrates me. Times must be hard for so many to travel so far, and they cannot believe, I think, that we are traveling for pleasure, if indeed that is our reason. Converse! Greetings, Monsieur G. Please, ticket. Minsk. I'm told Minsk is really very cold. Hear this, one can travel aboard the Belarus Express from Minsk to Moscow, but the fare is extortionate. To Odessa. I've been told there is a road from Minsk to the edge of the Black Sea. On the subject of carriages, I've heard one can travel by Palanquin along the Grand Trunk Road from Kabul to Lahore. What else do you know about Lahore? I've nothing against you personally, Passepartout, but I rarely talk to servants. I don't know any of these places. Is it possible to go from Lahore to Karachi? Here's something I do know. You can head north from Karachi into Afghanistan by train. This is the longest conversation we've been able to maintain. Goodbye! Whew! I kept my mind from the cold. Playing chess, talking to other passengers. Let's talk to other passengers. Hoping to gather information for our next leg, I met a nervous Russian ragamuffin and had a pleasant if unproductive conversation with an interest in art, whom I quickly abandoned as knowing nothing, with an interest in art. So I showed them our Rembrandt while hearing the Karimskaya hosts and outpost of the Artificers Guild. We took dinner as the sun went down in the dining car and feasted on tender cutlets, while the train's migrant population looked on, whose flavor was soured by the scores of hungry faces. While the train's migrant population looked on through the barred door into third class, once again I knew how lucky I was to have landed the job of valet. We arrived in the early hours of the morning. We are on the edge of Russia, but I'm still not sure we will be able to avoid it completely. At this point, yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to avoid Russia. We're just gonna have to suck it up. Market! Okay, so we sold the shaving kit and it's here again. A railway cap. A railway man's cap, the sort worn by train guards and enthusiasts. Genuine Scottish shortbread. How it got here is hard to understand. A safety harness. Heavy storm set. Oh, I do have the heavy storm. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. Explore. A very cold newspaperman offered me a sip of Turkish coffee at a tram stop in Minsk. My grandfather was French, he said blandly. Then we are compatriots. Was he also a journalist? We're compatriots. I toasted him with my ceramic tumbler. I do not think so, he spat on the ground vehemently. I did not know him. He was one of Napoleon's soldiers. Minsk was occupied by the Grand Army during the invasion. He did not speak in a particularly accusative tone, but any words I tried to say in reply coagulated at the back of my throat. Ah, I managed to choke out. An unfortunate business. Yes, war is an unfortunate business, and yet, he sighed, I am here, so there is that. He gestured with his cup. You are traveling? We are headed from here to Moscow, I think. We will cross Russia to Japan. Who knows where we are going next? I replied with a shrug. He nodded. I see, well. He glanced down at his coffee cup. If I were traveling, I know where I would choose to go. And where is that? Tehran, he replied, to my surprise. A beautiful place, I am sure. He laughed bitterly and tapped the newspaper under his arm. When I was younger, I knew a woman named Lena Palkala, a Finnish girl. She became a dancer. Now she passes herself off as Slavic and has just been signed up to dance exclusively in Tehran. I am sure I will never see her again, but if I could, I would try. Then go, I could advise you on routes. If that's your dream, go for it. You want to see her perform one last time? Make it happen. I would never find her. Lena Palakala is gone. Her name is now Marina Poltakva. Our tram wheezed into the stop and the conductor opened the doors. The newspaperman boarded. Enjoy your coffee, he added without looking in my direction. I boarded with him. And he cracked a rare smile. Perhaps I had lightened his day a little after all. Anything new in the market? Same stuff. Alright, let's plan where are we gonna go next. Odessa. Alright, let's do it. Does the hotel cost money? I guess it does. I have not been paying attention. Whoops. We took a room and settled in, and I made certain to repack and iron everything. I engaged another guest in conversation. Well, I guess we're a valet. I need to make sure all our stuff's in order. Relations with Fog have improved slightly. I just have to do my job, and then he's happy with me. Go figure. Odessa. Embark! No! Okay, I hired extra space. Whatevs. I must confess, I boarded the steam carriage to Odessa with some trepidation. Although its horses seemed well oiled, to my unaccustomed eye, it looked none too safe. Although its horses seemed well oiled, and the boilers in their great iron rib cages were clearly well tended by the carriage driver, the thought of being locked up for 2 days like some kind of prisoner filled me with dread. There was space for 2 in the back. My master took the seat on the left, the seat in front of the exhaust pipe. The master would not like that, so the master took the seat on the left. There was a space for 2 in the... Are you done? There was a space for 2 in the back. My master took the seat on the left while I took the right, which placed the tall stovepipe exhaust just behind my head, ready to burn me if I should, by some miracle, manage to fall asleep. Then we were off. The horses pawed at the ground with cyclical motions, and the wheels under the carriage began to turn in time to shuffling of the engine. Relations with Fog have improved slightly because I didn't make him sit in front of the exhaust pipe. Go figure! Converse! Greetings, Madame le Driver. It is so pleasant to converse. Odessa. I need to know about Odessa. They say Istanbul can be reached from Odessa by Forlani and hydrofoil. I'm learning so many words today. Sure. Saracen? I've never heard of such a thing. Is there a route from Odessa to Thessaloniki? I've got to get out of Eastern Europe. I am not thriving here. I don't know, but listen. Thessaloniki is named after the half-sister of Alexander the Great. I have heard these steamed power carriages referred to as bone rattlers, and not just because they are used to carry the bodies of the fallen back from the various battlegrounds of Europe for interment. This particular carriage suffered from especially bad suspension. Monsieur Fogg bore it well. I could see Monsieur Fogg was suffering, and tended to him as best I could. And it was all I could do to not say, I told you so. I'll tend to him as best I could. I don't want to get fired mid-journey and get dropped off in an unknown country. I could see Monsieur Fogg was suffering, and tended to him as best I could with what little was available. He smiled weakly at my ministrations. Save your concern, my good man, he murmured. I'm quite certain there is worse ahead. I will not lie, his words filled me with dread. Relations with Fogg have improved slightly. Okay, we've come back. We've come back from our degraded relationship. As we returned to our steam carriage for the second day of our journey, I all but wept, maintained steady composure. I'm an effing crybaby, so I'm gonna say I all but wept. My poor posterior had not yet recovered from the previous day in this dread bone rattler. My master appeared equally apprehensive, although he took the exhaust pipe seat by choice. Either he is being generous to his poor, troubled valet, or perhaps he does not enjoy the cold of the open road. Still, a stroke of luck befell us on the outskirts of our destination. The carriage passed a man with his thumb stuck out, and we stopped to pick him up. It was a giant skeleton. He was collecting stories. And we stopped to pick him up, only to have him explain he was on his way to Istanbul by hydrofoil to join the riots. Riots? Indeed, the man nodded, rubbing his hands. I like a good riot. But why are they rioting? Sounds dangerous. I'm sure it is, he said with evident pleasure. With that, he sat back and smiled, and we closed the final miles into Odessa. Whew. First off, let's see if some of our possessions could earn us well here. There's no departures today. We should explore a little. Okay, cool. Let's go to the market. Ooh, set of false teeth. Why? Good false teeth are hard to manufacture. This set appears to have been extracted rather than made. Ew, I don't want that. I should get the Russian timetable, but the stopwatch, split-second stopwatch, or not. I'm not gonna buy anything in the market. Dang it, we cannot explore. Let's plan. I want to try and stay out of Russia. This is way too big. We have not made the most efficient pathway so far. I do want to... Shoot, I can't. I gotta go to Istanbul first. Okay, negotiate! The Russian costume should yield results. Alright, no charge, further 260. Okay, departs in 2 days. Boo! I guess we gotta sleep at the hotel. We arrived in Odessa in the company of a cold spell and shivered our way through the wide streets. The city could almost be Mediterranean if it were not the signs of Russian dominance, if it were not for the wind. Russian dominance? On every painted sign and flapping flag, our hostel lay at the top of an enormous staircase on which we found several locals sitting and talking and sipping from shared carafes a clear liquid I do not believe was water. The mood was pensive. We left them to their glum celebration. We approached a group. We approached a group of drinkers. We are visitors, I said by way of greeting. Monsieur Fogg hung back, taking in the surroundings rather than looking at the people themselves. What would you recommend you see? Why do you all look so subdued? The people looked at one another and laughed darkly. This is us at peace, one declared. We are friends today. It is not always so quiet in Odessa. Another spat. We are a city overrun. By what? By Jews. Ooh. The other sitting with him murmured agreement. Monsieur Fogg touched my elbow gently. And we stepped away. We're not getting involved with that. I feel that the cold air of this place truly does enter the bones of its people. We want to be approachable and friendly and conversable, but we don't want to get mixed up with the wrong crowd, you see? Your character is now zestful. Even more so than before. Let's explore. No, that's a terrible route. I don't want to go that way. I walked the streets a while, discovering the possibilities for how we might make progress. Plan. Away. Get away from Russia. Negotiate! Okay. Sure, buy the extra space. Final departure, let's go! Our progress has been horrendous. The hydrofoil was of a similar design to the one we had taken north out of Amsterdam. A grizzled type invited us aboard, which is a tricky proposition, which I found easy enough. Which was a tricky proposition and involved being passed bodily from shore to the sailors on the ship. They set us down in seats around the perimeter of the craft, then they turned on the engines. "It's noisy," shouted the grizzled man, who had leapt aboard with the painter in his hand, "but fast." I closed my eyes. He was not dissembling. I closed my eyes and did not see a moment of takeoff, but when I peeked a few seconds later, we were levitating across the mirror glass surface of the Black Sea, traveling at terrific speed. Greetings, Captain. Just have to shout over the engines. Istanbul! Istanbul is the only city in the world to straddle 2 continents. Athens, let's go to Greece. Have you heard that you can pick up engine oil in Athens you can sell for profit in Tehran? I'm just clicking things now. I don't know where any of these places are. Sophia. I have to go. Goodbye. I agree. Every time I converse, it's just another awkward experience. The vessel did not actually levitate, of course. Instead, it bucked. Like an untamed horse and gave us all the most appalling seasickness. We waited out the ride, grim-faced, watching the distant shore approaching slowly, wildly bouncing up and down as it came. When we stepped off the craft, we all but fell down. Whew, all right, I'm going to leave this episode of 80 Days here. Thank you so much for joining me. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I hope to see you next time. Bye!